Hey everybody, this is Brad Doug saying hi. I'm just touching base with you on part 2 of our HPE DL380 Gen 9 issue that came up as we were putting all the parts and pieces and things together into the system. Knowing that we have some compatibility challenges and so on, and I was able to say, hey, give me a few minutes, and I did last night and this morning, and was able to find out what had happened to the DL380. Now, the thing I was talking about with the DL380 Gen 9 is all of these inserted, what I call modules of BIOS components, that which are kind of like pseudo containers that hold information and resources and so on. Well, the BIOS is just as bad as that. So lo and behold, there was one more value hidden out of sight and out of mind that had to pay attention to, and that was basically the RBSU. Now, this is the BIOS platform configuration menu for the BIOS utilities or the BIOS configuration, what's known as the system configuration. But based on what version of firmware you will have, you'll see it'll show as a system utility or it will show as a system configuration. But you've got to go down into the utility structure, go down to the advanced options, and then look for the embedded connector value. If it is set to auto, it's not going to work. It will turn it off for preference to the ILO. You have to change that to always, and that forces the VGA header to come to the front and come up after the posting of the Gen 9 platform. Now, I went out on the internet just to see if anyone else is having this problem. Oh yeah, they are. A lot of them are, because they don't understand that when you hit the default values on the configuration, that gets flipped. Because HP really wants you to spend a whole pile of money on ILO for good and for bad reasons, as long as the good reasons are spending money. But the key detail here is, you get three basic options with this video card configuration, that is auto, disable, or enable. And in this case, since the ILO is present, it was set to auto, it immediately disabled the unit and you couldn't use it from that point on. I'm half tempted to remove the ILO out of my system just to get out of the equation, because it's sticking its fingers in everything. But that's okay. I can actually do that and continue to use the hardware OEM level and get what I want. So with that being the case, this is where we are right now. The video unit does come up now, and it comes up correctly, and it is doing what I need it to do. This is Mint Linux, just as a point of reference. You have to forgive me, my nice monitor died, so I have to use this TV monitor instead temporarily. But I booted off of the USB stick for Mint. Mint Ubuntu distro is what I prefer to use because it has some extended functionalities. I also like to use KDE's Plasma, but you gotta be careful with that because you can never uninstall it once it's installed. So you have to figure out what you want for your GUI interface desktop. But in this case, we're keeping this simple and basic, and I don't want to have to deal with licensing or sub functionality and so on. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to install a baseline of Linux on this machine. Now, if some of you are wondering, okay, Brad, what did you do? I mean, could you show us on screens? Actually, no. The reason why I am not going to show you this on the step through screens is I realized that there are multiple versions of the Gen 9 BIOS out there, and that can be a very serious discrepancy. So whatever I show you, you may say, where is it? I don't see it. I don't see anything. It's not correct. And the actual answer is yes, you're right. It's not correct, because the older release locks are different than the latest BIOS release locks that are out there for people to use. So the most important thing to do is remember that actually sitting inside the RSBU environment, there is a value there that you need to look at. Now within that configuration, what you want to seek out is actually the embedded video connection status. or menu reference, or just a simple statement saying video connection. So with that being said, I am in the process now of working with this environment. With Mint, I need to see my environments. I do see them correctly. There's the 1 terabyte RAID 5. There's the single 2 terabyte drive. And that's going to work. And we're going to see how the acceleration works to make sure that it is in good shape. It's requesting now to write the values into play, and I'm going to say yep. And I'm going to look at the system. Yep, and there it goes. Well, we'll get this situated. Oops, yeah, that's right. All right, hang on a second. Okay. And now we're starting the process. So we're going to go over here now, and we're going to take a look at the state of the drives. And as we can see, we have good activity. The write cycle is good. We have bridge connectivity. We've got LAN connectivity, which we can see over here, and there are no alerts. So now, surprisingly, it's installing pretty fast. A lot faster than I thought, considering the nature of these drives. But they're all SSDs, so that's pretty consistent. So with that being the case, the HPE DL380 Gen 9 is working fine. It's passing its diagnostic states, it's doing well, and I'm pleased with it. This is going to be a crucial machine for me for a few years. And as I phase out some older systems, such as my Gen 8s and my Gen 6s, this will come to the forefront to be what I need it to do. And that is kind of be one of my core platforms, my core services. Now I think because of the number of processors and the large sum of RAM, which is right here, over here, all that RAM right there, will be going into that box, and I think I might create just a single node Proxmox environment to run my virtuals, play around with that some more, and have some fun with it. Maybe do a merge between the minis and the master. But the key thing is I need a playground to do a lot of extension work, and this would be the way to do that. Well, this is Brad Dyke. I am signing off. I just wanted to get part 2 out as quickly as possible because you guys might be holding and trying to figure out what the heck. I've seen this problem before. That's the fix. Now, I won't lie to you. Hardware is hardware. If it does fail, it fails. You know, it'd be in the ROM area too, by the way. But you could check your switches and flip them out. I think it's like 1, 5, and 6. Turn them on, and that will force the ROMs to clear and use the auxiliary ROM footprint and get you hopefully back on your feet. Then go look for this feature I was talking about, and your screen should start to work. Well, have a great weekend, guys. God bless, and take care.